It's too expensive. It's too expensive to leave versus what you would save and the regulations that you wouldn't have to go through and all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. What California does is overregulate everything. They get as much government involved as possible. They suck as much tax money out of you as possible. And then they still leave the place a mess. They still have homeless people everywhere. It's still a disaster. It's still a woke show of virtue signaling at every level of the government. Still. Like no course correction at all. They're going further and further into la-la land. And you're like, Jesus Christ, you guys.
The storm in California may have passed, but the outrage sure hasn't. Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson are still fuming, and Gavin Newsom is their target. On Rogan's podcast, the two unloaded on the governor, calling him out for failure after failure. If you're into raw, unfiltered political firepower, this one's for you. Smash that subscribe button, and let's dive in.
Poorly managed. It's so frustrating and confusing, and then he gets on TV and pretends like everything's great. Mm-hmm. And California's the best. We have the best state. We have the most amazing economy. And like, you're out of your mind, dude. You've ruined the state. You personally ruined it.
Rogan didn't hold back. He blasted Newsom for wasting his time in office, turning what should be America's dream state into a place people are fleeing in droves. Rogan himself left back in 2020, fed up with California's cancel culture, where one wrong word could ruin you. He says Newsom inherited a booming economy and ran it straight into the ground with bad policies, empty photo ops, and no accountability. Now, crime is up. Homelessness is everywhere. Businesses are leaving, and taxes are crushing what's left. To Rogan, Newsom is the poster boy for broken progressive politics. Big on image, empty on results.
Alive today had ever experienced a true pandemic. And I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to, recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it. So what do you tell those people? Vote Republican.
The pandemic was the breaking point. Rogan tore into Newsom's endless lockdowns, which destroyed small businesses, fueled a mental health crisis, and did little to stop the virus. Schools stayed closed for months, robbing kids of education while politicians' kids got private tutors. Mask mandates? Rogan called them political theater, not science. He accused Democrats of silencing debate, ignoring data, and doubling down on failure. Newsom, he argued, had a golden opportunity and turned it into a disaster. Businesses vanished, freedoms disappeared, and everyday lives were shattered. And when California wildfires hit, Rogan says Newsom was still missing in action.
This guy's like standing in front of all this stuff. And he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plan.
Watch this. Play this.
I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
A big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to Josh. Look at this. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying, move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes.
That's why Rogan now urges Californians to vote Republican. Because real leadership isn't staged photo ops. It's showing up when it matters. He remembers Arnold Schwarzenegger facing California's chaos head-on. No excuses. No spin. Just action. Newsom? He treated every crisis like a political chess game. While shops went bankrupt and families lost everything, he was dining maskless at luxury restaurants, dreaming of the White House. Californians don't need another slick politician. They need someone with guts, honesty, and backbone, not a careerist chasing headlines.
Newsom talks about California. He's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. California has all this industry. Hey, they're all thinking about moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. If it was like every business could instantly pull up roots and replace everything and have everything running in a week at the other place, they'd all be gone.
Rogan kept swinging. He accused Newsom of turning California into a graveyard for small businesses. First, Assembly Bill 5 crushed freelancers and gig workers, burying them in red tape. Then came the flashy $20 minimum wage, great on paper, but devastating in practice. Restaurants shuttered, layoffs soared, and mom-and-pop shops collapsed. On top of that, Newsom botched the unemployment system so badly that fraud exploded, leaving businesses with tax hikes they never signed up for. Rogan summed it up. Instead of helping entrepreneurs, Newsom strangled them with bureaucracy, bad laws, and empty promises. California, he warned, is no longer the land of opportunity. It's a cautionary tale.
It's too expensive to leave versus what you would save and the regulations that you wouldn't have to go through and all the bull with all the permits and all that. What California does is overregulate everything. They get as much government involved as possible. They suck as much tax money out of you as possible. And then they still leave the place a mess. They still have homeless people everywhere. It's still a disaster. It's still a woke shit show of virtue signaling at every level of the government. Still. Like no course correction at all. They're going further and further into la-la land. And you're like, Jesus Christ, you guys.
That's a man who's had it up to here with Gavin Newsom's so-called leadership. And honestly, can you blame him? California should be the crown jewel of America. Instead, it's drowning. Despite being one of the richest states in the country, everyday Californians face problems worse than most average states. Homeless encampments stretch across Los Angeles and San Francisco. Crime spikes in the big cities. Businesses are fleeing to Texas and Florida, and the cost of living is crushing the middle class. So what did all those flashy, progressive policies actually deliver? According to critics like Rogan, nothing but bloated egos in Sacramento and a California dream slipping further away. And he's not the only one saying it. Actor Mel Gibson has stepped up, too, and he's calling for Newsom to go.
Have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I asked my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office?
Mel Gibson didn't mince words. He went straight to the point. Vote Gavin Newsom out. And he wasn't posturing for headlines. He meant it. His breaking point came when IC protests in California spiraled out of control. What began as demonstrations quickly turned into lawless riots. Looting, smashed storefronts, neighborhoods in chaos. And where was Newsom? Playing politics. Gibson blasted him for choosing ideology over responsibility, for siding with protesters instead of protecting lives and property. To Gibson, this wasn't a small slip, it was flat-out negligence. Californians weren't begging for a crackdown. They just wanted peace, order, and a governor who had their backs. But Newsom couldn't even deliver that. Instead of fixing the crisis, he staged stunts, taunting federal officials like Tom Homan to come arrest him, as if that circus act would cover up the mess he'd let happen on his watch.
Get your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes. Been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
As if arresting one man would magically erase the chaos he'd already unleashed. It was laughable, another cheap photo op, crafted to make Newsom look tough when, in reality, he was scrambling for damage control. His protest response wasn't leadership. It was political theater. California's cities burned, businesses collapsed, and faith in government crumbled, while he posed for cameras. That's the definition of hypocrisy. If he truly cared, he'd have worked with the federal government to address immigration challenges legally, humanely, and effectively. He could have pushed for real reform that balanced security with fairness. But that takes courage, and courage is exactly what Newsom lacks. Even actor Jon Voight saw through it and publicly called him out, adding his voice to the growing chorus against Newsom's failed leadership.
You're a fool, blaming Trump. What are you doing for this destruction of these animals destroying Los Angeles? Are you there, talking calmly with them, you fool? They would burn you down like they're burning the cars and the American flag with no regard for humanity. This is not about Trump. This is about protecting the people from these animals and criminals trying to destroy us. And our police force, are they supposed to stand there, let rocks hit them and kill them? Who's going to save them? You? You're a disgrace. You're nothing but a lying dog for the hopes of becoming the president one day.
And that's why the idea of Gavin Newsom running for president in 2028 is almost laughable. California, a state overflowing with wealth, talent, and innovation, has floundered under his watch. If he can't manage one state without it spiraling into homelessness, crime, and economic decay, how could anyone trust him with the entire country? Newsom shines when the cameras are on, but when it comes to results, there's nothing there. His policies glitter on paper, but collapse in practice. He preaches progress while businesses flee, schools suffer, and families pick up the pieces. Real leadership isn't press clips and photo ops. It's results you can feel. And if this is his blueprint for governance, America simply can't afford to let him scale it nationwide. From Joe Rogan to Mel Gibson to Jon Voight, the critics are lining up. Because if Gavin Newsom can't steer California, he has no business steering the United States. Voters are starting to see it. And that's where we'll wrap it up. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Joe Rogan hilariously destroys Gavin Newsom during his podcast.